morning to you. You're a little bit earlier than normal. Hope you guys are doing well and getting ready to enjoy your weekend. Today, we're going over the fact that Telegram seems to be somewhat of the talk of the town of all things lately. Obviously, we had a lot of the big sticker sales for some notable IPs, and now we got Snoop Dogg out here that's doing one of their own. Snoop Dogg sells $12 million in Telegram NFTs. We seem to forget that if there's money to be made, if there's status that exists in certain individuals that know they just got to do something and they can bring in that money, they go and do so. And Snoop Dogg jumping back into the space medved, saying, did you really think unique digital assets were over? No, that's why I've been streaming about this for like 2 years. True. Well, technically more, but just in the length of this exact show. Snoop Dogg's digital collectibles drop on Telegram sold out in just 30 minutes, generating $12 million in sales, nearly 1 million unique NFTs inspired by Snoop Dogg's iconic style. Blockchain minting and the secondary market go live in 21 days. It's going to be wild. I'm telling you what's going on, brother. I'm sort of confused to an extent, right? And like, how do we segregate the two? So there's the people that we'll call you and I, right? That would like speculate on, all right, maybe we buy these things. Maybe there's Snoop Dogg fans out there that would really like these things. And then there's the ones that are just actually big fans of Snoop Dogg that want to collect these things. And who is the primary audience for these Telegram ones? Is it people that are buying on the speculative side? Is it actually Snoop Dogg's fans? That's something that I'd be sort of interested about. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to understand because I'm not that in tune with the Telegram ecosystem, but we continue to see more and more things that are happening on Telegram. So is this the cycle that Ton gets all the attention, similar to Hyperliquid has gotten a lot in the past? And again, if you type in Telegram NFTs, there's literally zero conversations around the fact that almost every major NFT brand just sold their own $1 million variants. It's Snoop Dogg. Connects with people, I guess. Pengu also live on Hyperliquid. Speaking of it just a second ago, Pengu seems to be getting listed on a part of literally everything. I don't know if they're paying for it. I don't know if it's just everybody wanting to be associated with the Penguin and knowing that there's demand there, which is truly the case because we've seen it go up like 30% as of yesterday. Let me go check the prices in a little bit. But Fitch Inverse, notice how everybody's doing the verse at the end, right? Like Schillerverse, true. They are somebody that's involved with Parallel, more specifically, the partnership side of things. Just so, you know, you got the ins and outs. Hello, friends. What's going on, Fitch? I wanted to give an update on Parallel and my thoughts on the state of the industry right now. All right, a little bit behind the scenes look. First, Web3 gaming got hit with a nuke. Projects closing left and right, tokens down 95% or more. NFTs going to zero, players drying up. It has been rough. And it's not just Web3 gaming or even gaming. Microsoft and other major companies laying off thousands. There's been a global wave that has hit companies across industries hard. To anyone who has been struggling through this period, I'm sorry. This is my 4th cycle now, and I think and it's always brutal. Never gets any easier, and this one, as a builder in Web3 gaming, felt especially rough. What tends to happen during these times is negatives are magnified and positives are diminished, which breeds doomerism and toxicity. Listen, can we just like package this line and everybody just like copy paste that online? Because I very much agree. Negatives are amplified and the positives are completely diminished. And this becomes a smothering air. This has happened to us as well. We are not immune to it. I've always prided ourselves on engaging the community, and I think of late we have failed to do so, partially because the longer you do this and the more negativity you deal with, the more important it becomes to protect your headspace. So you withdraw. I certainly did, but the time to engage the community directly is here again. So, I mean, part of this, right? I mean, I don't disagree with anything that they've said so far. And again, I'm not necessarily somebody on the inside of building a game and seeing, hey, this has worked, this has failed, and, you know, whatever happens within that particular industry. But it's interesting that we're highlighting, okay, you know, it's been rough. People have been like in their shells, but suddenly price has brought attention back to crypto. So now's the time to engage. Sort of interesting POV. In the coming weeks, we will open up conversations with the community directly again and hear your feedback. We always watch and listen, but it's time to engage now. Time to make bold decisions. The announced prime burn and discussed card burn should reflect this. We in the echelon are willing to do things we have never been willing to do before in order to meet your needs and not just survive, but to thrive. So With that kind of line, I'm curious what's going to happen with a lot of these collections that have certain tokenomics that are offering certain things. That how vastly do they change? How bullish do they try to make a narrative? Because that's the big thing, creating a narrative around these things. Does it get to get the reactions? BlackRock is now buying more Ethereum than Bitcoin. BlackRock just bought 158 million Ethereum, while only buying 125 million Bitcoin. Okay. While only buying $125 million or something. Yeah, okay. So a little bit more on the ETH side, but again, this goes back to the sort of like outsized returns aspect that a lot of these bigger players are wanting to look at, and it seems like that might be the case. So yesterday we had a stream that was, a little bit touchy on certain subjects, trying to highlight, hey, you know what? I think people are like, okay, this just doesn't feel all that good. And Sportsnet, one of the major broadcasters within Canada that's got kind of a conglomerate in a way on sports. There's Sportsnet and then there's TSN, and each of them, I think, fight for bids of certain teams, and some of them will have one sport, some of them will have another. When it comes to Olympics, when it comes to World Cup, they'll all be a little bit different. But check this out. And this was sent to just a normal person. We wanted to let you know that effective September 9th, the price of your Sportsnet Plus Premium Annual will increase from the current $249.99 to $324.99 plus applicable taxes. So it's a 30% increase when half the games are blacked out that you can't even watch. You're very limited to whatever is, like, in quotes, the nationally broadcast game. And people are just absolutely losing their shit over it, and I would tend to agree. And one of the biggest comments about it, right, and not that I'm advocating for this, but one of the biggest comments is everybody rebuttaling, saying, well, I'm just going to pirate it. Which, okay, sure, we can just throw that out there, but what if there's an alternative where I feel like I'm in the camp of, okay, for the specific sports that I watch, for NBA, for soccer, right? There's Major League Soccer, the season pass on Apple, whatever, right? Like, okay, that's $60. If I'm just going to end up watching that one, then boom, bada bing. For the NFL, there's the Zone, which is, $40 or whatever. And if I only care about that specific sport, it just, when people see these and they're like, okay, where are the other options? That's when that's the light bulb moment for you. So Ryan Adams, who's the guy that does the Bankless podcast, which has been involved in various drama situations at points, but I think he's been an interesting person that shares opinions on the timeline. And then they said this: it's not a bull market until someone starts a tokenized real estate project again. And Buddy is just completely not even checked in, because we got a whole bunch of different real estate, different RWA projects that we've interviewed founders that have been cooking for a couple of years now, and they've existed. He's just thrown out there being like, oh, I haven't seen any. And again, this comes down to due diligence. But if you're wanting to hear me talk with a bunch of industry experts in the RWA and real estate space, check out the link down below on YouTube, or check out my bio, or just type in that title on any podcasting platform. So Activision, which is a major video game developer within the space. They're building out Call of Duty as well. When Activision sued, seeing Call of Duty streamers spending millions on Counter-Strike 2, which is a completely different game made by a completely different studio, on spending millions, again, on that game for case openings, they're thinking about bringing back supply drops after seeing this. And let's make the argument. We see the Snoop Dogg. We see these the IPs within Web3, and I'm assuming there's other ones that aren't, Web3 born that have done stickers on Telegram. But when people see, hey, this individual just made $12 million from some digital goods, nah, slap me silly. People are going to go crazy for this, figuring out how to get into the industry. Now, the question in 2025 is, how do they get on the Web3 rails with doing it in a fashion that is not going to completely wreck their brand? Think of Adidas. They tried to do multiple things within the space before and completely shot their shot, and people are pissed. You can still find threads about people being upset about how they haven't fallen through with everything. Pepsi and the mic stands. There's been nothing for a lot of major brands to try to do stuff before. And now, if they're entering the space in 2025, these brands, I want to say, and I'm assuming, are going to be a little bit smarter about it. The question is, what chains, what companies do they end up working with? Official over in esports news, Carmine Corp is set to partner with X, bringing its series Carmine Life, to the platform. this is sort of interesting that we're having X change into a bigger content realm, and curious. And I mean, I feel like I haven't found like that much exposure from doing specifically the live streams on X. Again, YouTube, I feel like generally randomly come across more people. X talk about other things, people find me for whatever reason. But again, the discoverability I feel is like not that great, which is sort of the same with Twitch. But anyway, not having YouTube Premium as a cell phone, apparently. Hours of ads is worth more than $12 a month. Ouch. And this is, so, this is a quote tweet to somebody that was saying that people who pay for YouTube Premium walk among us as an insult. And this was the sort of same narrative that people said, oh, there's people that buy images that you can just right-click save. There's people that pay for X. And, you know, there's all this, like, negativity and, like, derogatoriness towards people. Just be happy and shut up. True. But we can't shut up about certain things. Man, it is terrifying out there. Police say 5-time repeat offender for impaired driving charged in Brampton crash that left a 21-year-old in critical injury. What are we doing? Man, the justice system is absolutely shot. And again, the more things, I know that's not necessarily relating to the cost and the sports and the other things that we pay for, but the people are paying attention. They have information. They're going to react to things, and whole baby change is going to come in a swath of different things, whether it's how we end up exchanging money, whether it's how people react to certain situations. And listen, 2025 is going to be absolutely crazy, and people are in like massive revolt of that last story. Record-breaking day at our crypto mining operation with all-time highs, including Bitcoin at over 116,000. I think it touched like 117,000 this morning. Thank you to Zafra Mining in Plattsburgh, New York, for keeping our fleet strong. It hasn't always been an easy journey in this space this past 2 years, but we're thankful to have stuck it out and to help lead the space into the next era. Our commitment is not wavered. I don't know. Cool, good vibes. How many people out there are investing in crypto miners of some sort? How many people went through potentially losing money running minings on prices not being the case? And that was something as well, just to touch on for a second, is operating these nodes, these validators, whatever, for various ecosystems. They were all varied in price. And like, as an example, I don't have it anymore, but for a Gala node, I had to spend like $30 a month to run this digital private server that was like, you know, accruing these tokens monthly. And I don't think there was ever a point where like I was quote unquote losing money, but I know for a lot of other ecosystems, depending on how much is needed for running these nodes, validators, etc., you do run that risk big time. And so cool to see that people are winning on that front. Bitcoin is up $100,000 since Peter Zion said Bitcoin would trade below zero in 2023. Love when people are excruciatingly wrong. Bitcoin up 91% since JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon claimed it was a fraud and a Ponzi scheme. Mainstream news probably blasting the opinions of all these individuals. Unbelievable. So here's a little bit of kind of a feel good and a perspective sharing moment, you know, when we're trying to be positive on this Friyay. So let's get into it. This is a must-read post. Okay, listen, we're reading it. Goblin Town, to highlight, which is a collection that came out a while ago that was just basically a bunch of goblin characters, stealthily and quietly built a game while all the others LARP on the timeline to bait you into buying whatever they're selling. They have a full-blown gamified TikTok filter live and running with people playing it worldwide on the app. As far as events go, they have done all exceptions from NFT NYC to random pop-ups over the last 3 years. All this done before they dropped a token with an NFT project that many people seem to have forgotten, also very successful during this time. Now they have the GOB token, which ran to 38 mil market cap within 30 minutes and made a lot of people money if you check out the top traders. There were a bunch of ups and downs for the following 24 hours, and now we see a healthy pullback with it bottoming in the 7 to 10 million range. Yet for some reason, the cabals and trenches want to pretend their token GOB doesn't exist. This is something we should be sending for the culture. For once, let's come together and bring a solid team and token to the top. And again, I think just generally speaking, when you have these teams that are still producing, still creating something, I think the sentiment around them is generally positive, and we're not going to see, you know, the swath of negativity and tribalism that we generally do. Walking into the store to pick out a new video game to rent for the weekend. Good old Blockbuster. You remember? A little bit of a nostalgia hit maybe for you, unless you were one of those PlayStation players and maybe like, you don't go to the Xbox section, you go to the PlayStation, or if you were on the GameCube side of front, going to check those out. Everyone had their own system. And then going over, if you just type in crypto news on Google, what exactly shows up? Bitcoin's new record lifts industry stocks ahead of Crypto Week in Washington. NASDAQ 100 and SP 500 Bitcoin surge fuels record ETF inflows. Top-notch crypto launches green cloud mining to protect the earth. Ongoing crypto draining scheme involves startup impersonation. Again, always remember anybody messages you, it's not true. Pump.fund crypto token launching soon. That's actually going to be a big question mark, right? So Pump.fund, which is a big like meme coin launch pad over on Solana, they're doing a token sale. Does that affect Solana in a bad way? Does that make Solana super in demand, right? People wanting to get associated within that. People are going to want to go over to Bitcoin. People are going to go to ETH. What are they going to rotate from? Market's coming back. And then if you just type in NFT news, well, NFT sales hit 2.8 billion in first half of 2025 as trading volumes tank. So we talk about trading volume tanking, but like, can we just pause for a second and say NFT sales hit $2.8 billion? Who cares if it's down from before? People just said the industry is going to die and there's nothing to be done with it whatsoever. Like, that's pretty impressive. And then, of course, they're highlighting the Snoop Dogg NFTs, and that's just like bada boom, bada bang. But that's going to be it for this edition of XVita early on this Friday morning. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoy everything that you do today, tomorrow, the next day, and we'll be back on Monday. I'm Tali. Thank you so much for coming on through, and hopefully you guys like this morning stream. And if you guys are watching afterwards, thank you. And also, Peckham and Super Bowl, thank you guys for commenting later. All right, peace.